Today, we are going to journey into the shadows of the Second World War, but not to revisit the battlefields and secret operations you learned in history class. Instead, we are going to delve into a story that treads the line between myth and reality, weaving together warfare and spirituality in a plot that could come straight out of a thriller novel. This is the story of the Spear of Destiny during World War II. Our focus is on the Spear of Destiny, also known as the Holy Lance, the Spear of Longinus, the Spear of Christ, or the Vienna Lance. According to legend, it was the very spear that pierced the side of Jesus Christ as he hung on the cross. But beyond its biblical roots, this artifact has been at the heart of countless historical tales, from the reigns of Charlemagne and Napoleon to the chaotic world stage of the 20th century. It is said that Charlemagne carried the Spear of Destiny in 47 battles and died when he dropped it. Fast forward to the 1940s. While the world is gripped by war, one man is on a quest for this artifact. Believing that it would grant him invincibility, Adolf Hitler, already at the helm of the Third Reich, sought this religious artifact. But was this the pursuit for spiritual power, a manipulation of religious symbolism, or a desperate grasp at the straws of superstition in a world spiraling out of control? This is the Dark History Project. Now let's get started. The story of the Holy Lance is deeply rooted in both biblical and secular history. The lance is believed to be the weapon that a Roman soldier named Longinus, in apocryphal sources, used to pierce the side of Jesus Christ during his crucifixion, as recorded in the Gospel of John. One of the soldiers pierced his side with a lance, and immediately there came out blood and water. Christ's blood allegedly imbued the lance with miraculous powers, making it a symbol of great religious significance and an object of fascination throughout history. A bit more background on the spear and where it originated. Although not named in the New Testament, Longinus is identified in extra-biblical tradition as the soldier who thrust a spear into Jesus Christ's side during the crucifixion, as seen depicted in the Gospel of John. Longinus's encounter with Christ is said to have led to a significant transformation. Legend tells us that he was a near-blind Roman soldier, and upon piercing Christ's side, some of the blood that flowed out fell into his eyes, restoring his sight. This miracle converted Longinus into a believer, and he is said to have declared, "Truly, this was the Son of God." This event marked the birth of the legend of the Holy Lance. The spear, once a mere weapon, became an artifact of great significance, believed to be imbued with divine power. Longinus, in turn, transitioned from his role as a Roman centurion to a Christian saint. His story and the legend of the Spear of Destiny became an enduring part of Christian mythology. The earliest documented appearance of the spear post-crucifixion is in Jerusalem during the 6th century. By then, it had already been imbued with its supernatural folklore and was considered an invaluable relic. However, as with many religious artifacts of the period, its actual location was often obscured by rumors, legends, and outright fabrication. The Holy Lance next surfaced in the documented history during the reign of Charlemagne, the first Holy Roman Emperor in the 9th century. It was believed that Charlemagne carried the spear through 47 successful battles, further reinforcing the spear's mystique as a symbol of divine power. His reign marked a turning point for the spear as it became not just a holy relic, but a symbol of imperial power. In the centuries that followed, possession of the Holy Lance became a matter of prestige and authority. The lance, as part of the imperial regalia, was passed down through generations of Holy Roman emperors, adding to its storied legacy. The spear's journey took a significant turn in the 13th century when it fell into the hands of the Ottoman Empire. It was believed to have been in the possession of Sultan Bayezid I, who then lost it during the Battle of Ankara in 1402. The Holy Lance was reportedly captured by Tamerlane, the Turco-Mongol conqueror, and taken back to his capital in Samarkand, where it disappeared from the historical record for a time. While the Spear of Destiny is primarily associated with figures like Charlemagne and Adolf Hitler, another towering figure of history, Napoleon Bonaparte, is also rumored to have been fascinated by this artifact. The role of the Holy Lance in Napoleon's story, however, is less clear than in other narratives. The allure of the Holy Lance lay in its supposed power to render its possessor invincible, making it a tantalizing symbol, especially for men whose ambitions knew no bounds. During his role as French emperor, Napoleon led a series of successful military campaigns across Europe, echoing the victories that Charlemagne had achieved supposedly with the Holy Lance by his side. Though historical documents don't directly place the spear in Napoleon's hands, rumors persist that he coveted this relic during his conquests. His fascination with religious artifacts is well documented. The most prominent example is his expedition to Egypt, which brought back countless antiquities. However, Napoleon's fall at Waterloo somewhat contradicts the myth of the spear's invincibility. Whether Napoleon ever sought or possessed the Holy Lance remains uncertain. Still, the persistent legend further enhances the aura of mystery surrounding this religious artifact and the influence it has wielded on powerful figures throughout history. Before we jump into the journey of the Spear of Destiny during World War II, let's take a look at how it ended up in the museum in Vienna. After purportedly passing through the hands of historical figures, the spear came into the possession of the Holy Roman Emperors. As part of the Holy Regalia, the spear was passed down through the generations, symbolizing divine authority and martial prowess. In the 1400s, the monarch Sigismund of Luxembourg had a collection of relics, including the lance, moved to Nuremberg and had a decree put in place to keep the relics there for all time. However, during the 30 Years' War in the 17th century, the Spear of Destiny, along with other imperial treasures, was moved to ensure its protection. In 1796, as Napoleon's forces advanced, the Holy Roman Emperor Francis II ordered the regalia to be relocated to Vienna, where it would be safe from French forces. Thus, the Spear of Destiny arrived at the imperial treasury in the Hofburg Palace in Vienna, becoming a major attraction due to its historical and religious significance. There it remained on public display until the dramatic events of World War II brought a new chapter in the spear's story. The Spear of Destiny is housed in the Weltliche Schatzkammer, or the Imperial Treasury, at the Hofburg Palace in Vienna, Austria. Although it has been examined, studied, and observed numerous times, there has been no comprehensive record of the specific physical changes it has undergone throughout time. Here's a general description. The Vienna lance consists of a tapering iron nail around 8.5 centimeters long, thought to be a Roman nail. This nail is fitted onto a larger silver shaft, roughly 50 centimeters in length, making the overall length of the spear approximately 60 centimeters. The nail and the larger shaft are connected by a series of golden and silver threads and bindings, many of which are beautifully adorned. According to some accounts, the nail section was supposedly part of the true cross, the cross upon which Jesus was crucified, and was later added to the spear, but this claim is difficult to verify. The Vienna lance is ornamented with a series of engravings and embellishments. The Spear of Vienna was covered with a silver band around the year 1084 by Henry IV. This band has an inscription that says, "Nail of our Lord." Later on, another band made of gold was added by Charles IV around the year 1350, covering the silver band. While the physical alterations of the Vienna lance over time are only possible to fully chronicle with comprehensive historical documentation, these changes may reflect the evolving beliefs, values, and artistic aesthetics of the cultures that have possessed it. Additionally, many of the modifications, like the additions of the casings, threads, bindings, and ferrula, may have been made to enhance the religious significance or visual appeal of the artifact. By the start of World War II, the spear was held in Vienna's Hofburg Museum, a prized artifact of Austria's rich cultural heritage. However, Austria's historical treasure soon caught the eye of an infamous figure, Adolf Hitler. A man obsessed with the occult and ancient mythology, Hitler saw in the spear not just an object of reverence, but a symbol of his destined greatness and potential tool for global domination. Thus, when Germany annexed Austria in the Anschluss of 1938, the spear quickly became a significant spoil of war. Hitler's fascination with the spear can be traced back to his days as a struggling artist in Vienna, when he would often visit the Hofburg Museum. In 1938, now in a possession of power, he ordered the removal of the spear, along with other artifacts, to Nuremberg, Germany's spiritual heartland during the Nazi regime. This move marked the beginning of the spear's journey in World War II. The relic was placed in St. Catherine's Church in Nuremberg, enclosed in a secured, specifically designed crypt. It was here that it would spend most of the war years, a potent symbol for Hitler's belief in his own destiny as the world's ruler. Protected by Nazi guards and kept under stringent security, the spear became a silent observer of one of the darkest chapters in human history. However, as the tide of the war began to turn against the Axis powers, Hitler's hold on his treasured spear weakened. In April 1945, U.S. Army General George S. Patton's Third Army swept through southern Germany, closing in on Nuremberg. They found the city heavily damaged by Allied bombings, but St. Catherine's Church and the crypt housing the spear remained intact. As American soldiers entered the church, they stumbled upon an unexpected prize. Hidden behind the layers of debris and damage, they found the crypt containing the spear. Lieutenant Walter William Horn, an art history scholar before the war, was tasked with identifying and securing the discovered artifact. After thorough verification, Horn confirmed the authenticity of the spear. In a stunning reversal of fortune, the supposed symbol of invincibility was now in the hands of Hitler's enemies. The spear was transported to the United States, where it remained under military protection until the war's end. It served as a potent symbol of the Allies' victory, a literal embodiment of the defeat of Nazi Germany and their failed quest for world domination. After the war in 1946, the U.S. returned the spear to Austria as part of a wider effort to repatriate looted cultural artifacts. It was reinstated in the Hofburg Museum in Vienna, where it remains today. A symbol of power and destiny was returned to its role as a cultural artifact, its journey during World War II serving as a stark reminder of the devastation brought by those who sought to wield its supposed power. Before we end this episode, let's get something clear. There are multiple versions of the real Spear of Destiny. Throughout history, multiple spears have allegedly been the actual spear from the biblical stories. Currently, there are several relics that claim to be the real Holy Lance. The ones in Rome, Vienna, and Armenia are the most popular ones. The Vatican doesn't claim its authenticity, and the one in Armenia doesn't look like what a Roman lance would have looked like. Now, something very important to keep in mind is that relics were not seen as what we think today a relic should be. In those times, if the real spear would have come in contact with any of those spears, they would have been considered authentic as well because they were in physical contact with the real one. So who knows? Maybe they did. Now, the Vienna spear was obviously altered throughout time. What if pieces of the real spear are within the Vienna Holy Lance? Let's discuss something more controversial. What if someone has the real spear in a private collection? Just so we get an idea, the black market for antiquities right now is anywhere between $5 to $7 billion annually. Think about it. If you had an unlimited amount of money, what would you buy? And that's the black market. I won't mention any names, but there are some very rich American families that to this day purchase antiquities from Egypt for their foundations for tens of millions of dollars. You just have to wonder what some of these billionaires buy and do not want anyone to know. Right now, we just discussed the one in Vienna due to the events that took place during World War II. And even with this relic, there are theories about it. Some theories claiming that the real one was hidden by the Nazis and the one recovered after the war ended was a replica. or that the Americans sent a replica to Vienna and kept the real one, which explains why the US became the most powerful nation on Earth post-World War II. In the course of World War II, the Spear of Destiny traveled from a museum exhibit to a symbol of Nazi ambition, then a spoil of war, and ultimately a returned relic. Its journey is a testament to the potency of symbols in human history and their potential to be used for both inspirational and destructive ends. Thank you for being with us for this episode of the Dark History Project. Hopefully we've inspired some of you to look further into these characters and stories. Please help us out by sharing, subscribing, or liking this episode. If the platform you are listening to allows for comments, please let us know what you think. Feel free to discuss this topic or what topics you'd like for us to cover in the future. We hope you enjoyed it, and our next episode will come out soon where we talk about the mysteries of Antarctica. See you then.